What a delight it is to come back to a great campus like this, knowing how the site was found, being on that committee that found this land, and then framing the first campus piece of this university. It was a college then. The basics were this, that the site chosen was equidistance between Grand Rapids, Muskegon, and Holland. That was somewhat of a given so that it was even and fair to the region. But in that spot then, in that general location, what we were looking for, it had to be a greenfield site of farmland, yes, but we were looking for a discipline that would give early context, form, and intimacy to a small campus start. And this is where we are now in this very spot, in the middle of that beginning. And the idea was this, that these strong ravines coming up out of the Grand River Valley, very deep and full of oak and beech, mature, could be the way in which we could look at small pieces of meadow, plateaus, about 20 to 30 acres in size, a perfect way to form a campus that had a sense of smallness to it, even though it was in the middle of a grand greenfield site. And therefore, the ravines would be the forming nature of the plan, and the service system, the infrastructure, and the roads would simply reflect that, and the two would hook together cheek to jowl, and one would enforce and inform the other. And the first campus beginnings began to happen. Bill Kessler was this great architectural artist of great skill. And the buildings that you see in this portion of the campus are coming out of Meath Kessler Associates. And then we, as a JJR firm, finished the landscape details. And at the time, Bill, he was a modernist, and he wanted something of the earth. The fieldstones were part of the vernacular in the farm country. It was agrarian, and he picked the fieldstone as a feature. That piece of the language, I think, has been extended to other buildings as well. It's available supply, it's a good connector in a design sense. The other connector is the landform. There was an interest in countering the flatness of this region, because it is a farmland country with a more undulating earth form that helped to define walkway systems. And when you see the plan that started and the plan today, that vernacular of meandering walkways, some broad, some narrow, is part of the connecting tissue of not only this first piece of campus. When you look around the campus as a whole, it exists just about everywhere. It's a nice way of having continuity. Almost immediately in the construction of 4 or 5 buildings, it had a sense of completion. We knew that the great open farmland would be the base of future university development, and we were hoping that these good bones, to start with, would carry the plan into the next 50 years. I have not been back a lot to see what has happened since these first days, and I am very encouraged. I'm just delighted with the way people seem to be walking through and enjoying this spot. It still holds its original grace and intimacy and form. It's easy to understand it. It still holds. And I go back to our point that we make so much in our field, that if a place and a plan has good bones, that continuity will endure. And that's what's happening here at Grand Valley State. Good job, somebody.